We're in a 2018 Toyota Tacoma push to start. We're going to do a plug-and-play remote starter. We're going to go ahead and we're going to disassemble the dash so we can access the plugs needed to complete the installation. We're going to start by removing a 10 millimeter from the under dash. There's also a 10 millimeter under the kick panel here. We're just going to pop the clip and move it to the side to access the 10 millimeter. Be careful not to drop the bolt down into the kick panel, and you'll have a hard time getting it out. We're going to remove the steering column cover plastic. There's two Phillips screws located on the face of the steering column cover plastic. We're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the ignition on so that we can turn the wheel to have access to the Phillips screw located on the face of the cover plastic. We're going to remove the Phillips screw. We're going to turn the wheel to the other side and remove the second Phillips screw. Going to recenter the wheel, and we're going to turn the ignition off. At this point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a gap in the plastic by applying pressure to the side and pulling down. Now we can repeat the procedure on the opposite side. Going to telescope the wheel to the furthest outright position. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the cover plastic. We're going to press and release the door pin switch to stop the that chime. I'm going to remove the under dash plastic. Just going to leave the under dash hanging. We need to access a plug on the BCM. We're going to be accessing two plugs. We're going to be accessing the steering lock plug connector. We're going to go ahead, we're going to press the clip and unplug the steering lock to the vehicle. And we're also going to be plugging into our BCM. I'm going to talk about our plug for a second here. We have two plugs on our T-harness. We have an A plug and a B plug. For the Tacoma, we're using the B plug. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to peel the label off of the B plug so that we can plug a connector into this, and we're going to go ahead and continue on. We're going to remove the vehicle's BCM plug that we need to access for the installation. We're now going to insert our B plug connector into the BCM, and we're going to make sure it clicks and locks. Now we're going to connect the connector that we've unplugged from the BCM to the other side of our T-harness. And again, we're going to make sure it clicks and locks when we plug it in. Now we're going to connect our steering lock plug. We're going to go ahead and we're going to plug into the steering lock mechanism. Now we're going to plug our harness into the steering lock plug harness that we've removed. At this point, we're ready to begin programming our device. We're going to begin programming our device. We're going to locate the program button on the top of the Evo. We're going to hold the program button down while we plug in our 4-pin data plug. When we do this, the lights on the front are going to begin to cycle. We want to release when we see a solid blue light. It's actually the first light that's going to illuminate. I'm going to show you a couple scenarios and what happens if we don't release on blue. So I'm going to hold the button down, plug in the 4-pin data plug. The blue light's going to come on. I'm going to release the button. If I fail to release the button at that time, what's going to happen is it's going to change colors, and it's going to come back around to solid blue, where I will release on the second time. You can also pull the plug and repeat the procedure if you have to. Now we're going to plug in the 20-pin plug, and we're going to plug the white plug in, and we're going to plug the red plug in. At this point, we're going to want to have the key fob in the vehicle. We're going to press the push to start button 2 times. We're not going to hold the brake so the vehicle starts. We're just going to turn the ignition to the vehicle on. I'm going to press once, twice. When we do this, the blue light's going to go out. It's going to come back on and flash rapidly. We're just waiting for that to happen. When the blue light flashes rapidly, we're going to push the start button one more time to turn the ignition to the vehicle off. We're ready to begin testing. To trigger remote starting, we're going to press the lock button 3 times in succession. This will trigger the vehicle to remote start and run for 15 minutes. We're going to open the door to the vehicle. When we do this, the engine is going to shut off. This is correct operation of the remote starter. We'll now get in the vehicle and restart the engine.